Coming up, you ever had that gut feeling? That gut feeling that you're like, what's the right thing to do? Go with your gut. This morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. I'm your host, Keith Bilous. Let's get after it, Jimmy. Boom. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where
when something negative comes up.
Building muscle appeal, blood flow.
Nobody is expecting, John.
If the lady's saying that, you're doing.
Be entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? Is that?
You know that feeling when you got in your gut? Your gut's like, I feel like I got something going on. I just feel it in my gut. I feel it in my brain. I feel it somewhere. Hey, we're getting into it today. What's your gut tell you about the decisions you're making? Hey, good morning, everybody. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. I'm your host, Keith Bilous. Hanging out with me this morning is my buddy Johnny Andersen, coming up for the big state of California. We got no tariffs on this show. No, baby. Christopher Martin's got the morning off. He's got a bunch of big things he's got to accomplish today. Smarty sent me a note this morning, said, hey, brother. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I got some things I got to take care of. I'm like, all right. Keith and Johnny got the vote for you. We got AJ zoning it. Yeah. AJ Zeglen joining us this morning as well. We're going to get into some conversations, have some fun here this morning. Guys, we got a bunch of things on the table here today to talk about. Let's get after it. And hey, listen, this show might have offensive language, even with all my hands all over the place. If you got children around, I would invite you to ask them to leave, or I would invite them to stick around so that they can learn some new words that we are going to drop into the lab this morning. A bunch of big topics for the show here today. Producer Jimmy on the buttons. We got Melissa behind the scenes. And of course, we got our boy there, Captain America, sitting there at the blue shirt, red hat, Johnny Andersen. What's up, Johnny? How are you, brother?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm happy today. I'm in a good mood today. I got good rest today. I had a good workout this morning. It's just a nice, fun day today in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's a beautiful thing. It's the way it can. It's the way it can be every day. It's just hard. It's hard for most people to see that side of their world.
Yes. Well, I think part of my joy, Johnny, comes from you today. Because I know you have a big weekend ahead of you, brother. You have a special weekend ahead of you. There's memories and moments and foundational decisions happening this weekend with your family. And I was like, it's pretty special for John and Terry and the gang, and a little wedding happening. Woo, baby. Are you excited? Or just Uncle Keith here is excited?
No, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's almost kind of surreal.
Yeah, I bet it is.
It's like, it's kind of hard. Like, doesn't really seem like it's here.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of, it's almost like, I don't know. It's exciting, but I don't know. I guess it almost hasn't quite hit me yet,
So you know what's funny is I'm hearing you speak there. I talk about this often with Carter. They won their third game on their first series last night as they advanced to the next round. I find when we're in the middle of a moment, it's hard to recognize it. Right. And I know that, you as a mature young man like myself, sometimes we maybe have to create that awareness. So what I'm offering to my brother right now is try to find some time to create that awareness of how you're feeling this weekend. Right. Because before you know it, it's going to be over and you're going to be like, oh, that happened. And it didn't even really notice that it happened. You know what I mean? Like, so sometimes those things just happen so fast. Where
we don't really know the moment sometimes until they're behind us.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a tough one because it's goodness gracious. We all,
especially as we age.
What's that?
Especially as we age.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it's like Terry was because Terry's going to give a speech, and so that was actually part of her speech was talking about some of the different stories, and it's saying, you don't realize that these are going to be some of the stories that you'll tell at your daughter's wedding and tell.
Yeah.
Preparing a speech for your daughter's wedding.
Well, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Right. So when is that? Is that wedding the Saturday? When is it? Saturday?
No, it's actually tomorrow. It's a Friday wedding.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The place where we're doing it is like, it's such a popular place for weddings. It's like the slim pickings for when you can actually get a date.
No kidding.
Yeah. No idea where it is. I mean, I know where it is, but I don't know what it's called. That's not my deal.
Yeah. Speaking of deal, I know you had a little bit of a walk around the neighborhood yesterday. We left the show. I know you said after your nap you were going to get curious to see what kind of work the buddy did on the racetrack back there. How did that dirt track come together, brother?
It was actually really cool.
Yeah,
really cool the way that he I mean, he did it because he had this huge, excavator out there. And normally, this is like the one with the blade that's like 8 feet wide,
Yeah.
And it's on tracks.
Yeah.
Normally our maintenance machine is like a little fucking tractor with probably like a 3-foot bucket that's on rubber tires. So it's just a completely different deal. But it was actually cool. It was a lot of fun.
That's so did you ride it all yesterday or not?
I ride got cut a little short because funny, we talked about yesterday about, do you have the, kind of the balls to say what's on your mind? Well, here's for example. So yeah, he basically, he made this thing to where it was before you had to kind of get out there and almost get warmed up, because to get to the other side of some of these jumps, man, you were fucking flying. Right.
Yeah.
And if you weren't ready to go, I mean, you could crash pretty badly. What he did is he basically those double jumps like this have like a hole in the middle, right? That's the gap. What he did was he took this huge tractor, made all of them tabletops. That makes sense. So he filled in the gaps. So you're still jumping the same distance, but if you don't make it, there's no consequence. That makes sense.
Absolutely. Yes.
Which made it a completely different. So you could just get out there and just start riding and warm up on the track, right?
Yeah.
So here's the funny part of the reason why I got cut short. So I don't know what, something upset my stomach yesterday. I don't know what it was, but I was taking more shits than normal and they're a little loose. And so I got warmed up and hit one of the bigger jumps and I came down.
Oh,
and what I was doing is I got a little bit of a strained leg, right? So remember I strained my leg out there last 2 weeks ago. So what I'm doing is, as I'm landing, right? You land standing up, but then as soon as I land, I'm letting my butt hit the seat to kind of break the fall of my leg. Right.
yes.
So that's the motion that I'm doing, which normally I don't. So it's like catch myself, sit down, break the fall. Right. Well, the big jump comes, I hit this thing, I land, just the impact of my feet hitting the pegs and just me starting to use my legs to slow my butt down. I shit my pants and literally ended up sitting straight in it. So that was a first for me, because we've all shit our pants. Let's be honest. Who hasn't shit their? But have you ever shit your pants and then immediately, like 1 second later, not even 1 second, half second later, sat in it?
I was just gonna say,
no, it was a new one, baby. I've never done that before. Okay, so we checked something up. We checked something off the fucking box yesterday. We checked another box to check on the first time ever.
We just talked a few moments ago about creating awareness around the moment. Well, as you were going up and as you were shitting your pants, you were recognizing that, okay, I'm going to feel it right now.
Well, here's the crazy part, dude, is so I didn't feel it on the up, right? I felt it on the land.
Yes.
So it was almost like, think like this. It happened so fast. Like if I just punched you in the eye out of the blue, you don't have time to think about how bad it's going to feel.
Yes.
Until you feel the sting. Well, I didn't realize I was going to be sitting in my shit until I was sitting, and it happened so fast. Yeah, I was like, God damn it. Son of a bitch. It was so cool because it was a little bit rainy too. I was like, it's always the best to ride in the rain.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, just a little rainfall. So not so wet that you can't hold on to your bars, but wet enough that it just makes the terrain a little different,
Oh man.
And bam, there it was. So I had to basically shut it down and, basically pull in the garage, put the bike away and put, basically my Under Armour underwear and my riding pants straight into the goddamn washing machine.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, you're hanging out with Keith and John this morning at the lab with Keith and friends. Hey, Johnny, I know Marty's been somewhat cryptic with you because he told me, he's like, I got to keep this. I got some stuff working on. I'm going to tell Johnny here when I got more clarity on it. Marty has a big meeting this morning, and I suspect he's going to come knocking your door later. Nothing that's going to impact you or I in our world, but he's working on some really cool things. That's he's working on a specific cool thing that he had a conflict with our engagement this morning. So
is there something that you can't tell me that he needs to?
Yeah, I would prefer if he does. It's a positive thing. He's working on some really cool things behind the scenes, and one of the things that might move the needle for him in his life, and it just happens. And a meeting, you can read between the lines of what I'm saying, and a meeting that he's having happens to be happening kind of in or around our show this morning. So I got a text this morning. He's like, Bilous, I got to go to that meeting this morning. I'm like, all right. So yeah, actually, it's funny because I sent you guys those videos, those AI characters yesterday, and after I sent you guys those videos, he gave me a call. He says, "Hey, I think I have that meeting tomorrow morning when I got the show with you and Johnny, so I'll let you know in the morning." So I said, "Okay." So, but
it got me all curious, man. Shit, is it work related? What's it related? What part of his life?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Okay.
Yes.
Good for him.
Perhaps new mountains for the young man to climb and go after. As we both know, we're supportive of that guy crushing big dreams and big goals. So
that's the way it should be.
100%, brother, 100%. And he knows that he knows he has you and I in his pocket to lean on. So I said, brother, you get after it. So I'm pretty proud of him to keep getting after it. Hey, so I teased something on yesterday's show that I realized I didn't get around to, and I really wanted to drop it with you this morning for a few moments. I know that you don't spend a lot of time with your head in this space, which I think is awesome because it creates great conversation in the morning. But obviously we know there's a lot of just crazy politics happening in the world right now, and this isn't a show for that, which is fine. People can go for that elsewhere. But we also talk about AI, and we talk about the impacts of AI and technology in the world. And Johnny, I'll say something to you, man, that's going to happen in our world. It's going to happen during our show. It's going to happen in our lifetime. But here's what many aren't suspecting, and I know you probably aren't either. Many in North America aren't suspecting. But here's the reality, I believe, what's behind all of the politics right now happening in the world. So you know how so you and I both grew up with the Manhattan Project, Oppenheimer, the nuclear bomb, right? You're a smart guy. You remember all that kind of, and that was all driven by government, right? Government was like, okay, we need to beat everybody to create the nuclear bomb before somebody else does. So, United States government goes and creates the Manhattan Project. Well, John, the next thing that's going to happen in our lifetime is going to change the world irrevocably is going to be when artificial general intelligence hits the world, meaning that there's AI smarter than humans.
Well, it's already happened, isn't it?
That's going to happen in less than 2 years during the Trump administration.
But isn't that already the case, or no? I thought AI was already smarter than humans. Are you talking about getting away from human control?
So great question. So AI has not fully passed the test yet. The Turing test or some of the tests, which suggests that it is past the benchmark of human intelligence. I talked about the singularity last week, but so it's on its way there, but it hasn't arrived at a state where it can operate autonomously, where it can be its own entity.
So it's kind of like it's reading between the lines, it's reasoning skills. There's just a few elements that it hasn't gathered enough information to surpass a human being. Gotcha.
Exactly. The prediction is it's going to happen within the next 2 years. And if you think about it, who's the administration have on his team, right? Some of the smartest brains in technologies there, right? You got Musk there, you got Zuckerberg there, you got all the big guys that are behind all the big AI. My point is this, Johnny. When the world wakes up with that discovery, no different than when the world woke up with the Manhattan Project. I don't know about you, but I'm just going to say it. I sure as hell want America to have their finger on that button more than China or Russia or anybody else. And what I mean by that button, I want America, or I want a nation that I'd like to think is friendly, ultimately has control of Skynet or Terminator or those kinds of principles. And many aren't thinking about that because we can't see it. But I'm telling you, man, the world's going to change ridiculously when that happens in a couple of years, and the government knows it. Your government knows that it's coming, and they are setting the stage for that to happen. And I'll throw one last thing at you that's going to happen. So we know that there needs to be immense amounts of power, like electricity, to power AI. You need resources for that. Well, there are mineral resources in my country of Canada. There are mineral resources in Greenland. There are mineral resources around the world, which the United States needs. So while everybody's paying attention to the noise over there, the signal happening over here, back to the Manhattan Project, the signal happening over here is that there's this thing being created behind. Good morning, Amy Reinhardt. Amy's like, oh, Keith, he's talking about that because Amy and I were talking about it yesterday. Good morning, Holroyd. That this artificial general intelligence, it's going to hit the world. It's going to be out pretty damn fast. And the government knows it, and they're just doing everything they can to protect us from it as it hits the world here in the next couple of years.
So I guess the question is, what are the possible scenarios when this thing hits?
So possible scenarios are, great question. Possible scenarios. You think about war gaming, right? So again, you love to play chess. This is a great conversation. You love to play chess. You're a smart guy. You're always thinking about the step ahead of the step of the head, right? Well, imagine being able to war game against other nations much quicker than somebody else. Imagine being able to, cyber attack your nation or your country better than somebody else. And so the speed at which you'll be able to do things because your intelligence is smarter than my intelligence changes the game, right? The moment that, let's just play a game here for a second, that China reaches it first, right? Their ability to war game America or war game Taiwan or war game or do things quicker than you is game changing. Right. So it's those abilities to make moves faster, uncover the next move faster. I go back to chess. That's why I'm keeping it on chess, because you get that philosophy. Because war in life is really chess, isn't it? It's understanding what's happening next. Right. So and then what's going to happen, Johnny, is that everything's going to change. I was reading an article last night. ChatGPT, OpenAI is talking about a $20,000 a month agent. So you're thinking, what agent? So yes, an AI that would replace a human.
Isn't that Microsoft that's coming out with that right now?
Well, that's one of them, but OpenAI has an agent right now that they're looking to bring to the market that's going to be about a $20,000 a month research agent. So let's just back this up for a second. So right now you can hire a human to be a research analyst, pay them $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year, right? Okay, a lot of money. They do the research for. Or you can pay an AI $20,000 a month, $250,000 a year to do the same thing, half the cost. Right. So my point is that this is coming. The government knows it. And all the things we're seeing right now politically is setting the stage for the next 2 to 3 to 4 years. And again, I know this isn't the big show for that, but this stuff fascinates me because while the rest of the world's looking over there, they're not really paying attention to what's happening over here. Hey, you saw me last week. I introduced those robots to you. Like that company that built those robots, Johnny, moved their timeline up 2 years. So what that means is that they were going to release.
It's happening faster than everybody thinks.
Than they thought. Elon's launching to Mars next November. Like next November, when you and I are doing the show next November, they're going to Mars. Like, that's just bizarre, man. And again,
26, they're going on November 26th.
Yeah, and you and I grew, and this is why it's fascinating to you and me because we're the same age. So we grew up in this era of looking at the future and thinking about the future, and now it's like. Remember growing up thinking about people going to Mars? Well, fuck, man, we're gonna be on the show one day. I'm like, Marty, but Johnny, they're going to Mars. It's like it's happening. The future's happening, right? So, it's fascinating.
Well, as our lifetimes, if you look at like our lifespan, and you and I are pretty much the same age.
Yes,
we've been actually pretty fucking lucky because if you go back, there was like my mom, she went through World War II.
Yes,
her parents went through the Great Depression. Every generation went through something. Before that, it was World War I.
Yes.
I don't know what I call our generation, but there's a series of generations.
Yes.
People alive today, a majority of people alive today have not had fuck.
Yes.
We are in trouble here.
And brother,
Corona is the biggest thing.
100%.
But that's just like Corona would be like a mosquito you're trying to wisp away.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if it was, look what happened during the Great Depression. Look what happened in World War II.
Yes.
And so it sounds like there's a possibility that we may be seeing our first real challenge in terms of life the way we know it.
Well, I love this, brother. I love it because this is the deep kind of conversations I really enjoy because you think about it, pal. You got your kids, my kids. Again, we're same age. You think about our kids, if we look at the last 50 years, to your point, world wars, And now as we grow up and our kids' generations grow up, they're going to be reflecting on some of these conversations, right? Like, your kids, my kids know of COVID and so forth, but like, is there a big war coming up in the next couple of years? How is AI changing the world? Like, there's these pivotal moments in our generational timelines, and it's happening around us right now. And I'm intrigued by it. It's fascinating to me. So anyways, we'll keep the conversation going as the days and years go by. That stuff fascinates me. We're going to get to the accountability check-in. Johnny, when we come back, I got a few things to throw on the table for you, pal. I got a few things to throw on the table for you. Some fun things that I want to get out here. 3 phrases no one should ever say in a negotiation. Yeah, we're going to bring that on the table. And 7 core characteristics of a marriage built to last. And if we have time, boys, I got something fun to talk about. Attractive women, ears up. Attractive women receive more oral sex than non-attractive women. True story. Yeah, psychology, stats, research telling us that. Is it any surprise, men? Is it any surprise? There's no surprise. If your wife's hot, or if your partner's hot, or your girl's hot, of course you want to perform oral sex in her. That's just what you want to do. Anyways, that's coming up as well. All right, let's do the accountability check-in. Speaking of accountability check-ins, boom! What if tomorrow wasn't just another day? No. What if you stopped fearing failure and you dared it to come? What if? What if you quit waiting for the stars to align? You're like, well, yeah, someday they're going to align. Well, yeah, just waiting around. They're going to align. They're just going to align. What if you finally faced the feedback you've been dodging? You're thinking, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I don't want to face the feedback. Most what ifs are chains. The right ones, they break them. Business athletes, you nation, you morning business athletes, you don't wait for permission. You don't say what if. You say, fuck it. You say, fuck it. Let's find out. That's what you say. Here's the move. Pick one fear, hesitation, or bad habit. Now attack it head on, baby. Fear of failing? You got fear of failing? Well, then try risk. Risk it. Learn something new. Walk towards the failure. Avoid the feedback. Get real. Ask for the truth from someone who matters. You procrastinating today, Holroyd? Well, set a timer. Start now. 15 minutes. Go. Yeah, go. Change doesn't come from thinking about it, baby. Nope. It comes from starting before you're ready. So here's your challenge. Jimmy, here's your challenge. What's one move you can make today to punch fear in the mouth? Talking with my hands this morning. Mornings in the lab with Keith and friends. There you go. Your accountability check-in. Drop it every single day at 8:16 Eastern time. Conversations to keep you accountable. All right, we got Johnny bringing me back on the stage here. Oh, Johnny. Hey, John, did we have a conversation in the past about dead butt syndrome? Do you know about dead butt syndrome?
No, if we did, I didn't stick with me.
Yeah. Just stick in your pants from your racetrack yesterday. Well, so I have a topic here about what is dead butt syndrome and what causes it and why do we have dead butt syndrome? And I thought, it must have been Marty and me had this, but Johnny, dead butt syndrome is a funny sounding name, but it's also known as glute amnesia. I have to think you've had it in your lifetime. It's more common in runners, but it's often for somebody. It's a condition involving weakened gluteal muscles that are switched off and aren't firing as efficiently as they should be.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I just never nailed. I've just never called it this. You know?
Dead butt syndrome.
On that. Oh yeah, perfect example. Like when I was working with student athletes that were trying to get D1.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna assess them. I got to figure out what I'm dealing with. And one of the things I need to know is, are their glutes firing? Because a glute is a massive muscle in terms of explosion, in terms of speed, in terms of there's so many things.
Yes.
And you'd be surprised at how many people their glutes were not firing. And it had to do with, there's so many different mechanics that was making that happen. But once you get a person where if they weren't using their glutes, you get them using it. It's like a new motor that turns on for them.
Yes. I find the glute muscles fascinating. And here's why. Because I think as humans, we largely take them for granted. We sit on them, we walk with them, we use them, but we don't. But like you said, when you actually spend the time to activate them, and I bring it up because I'll do my Tuesday deep cheeks day and my squats and everything. And I was really dialed into my squats on Tuesday. What I mean by that for me to you is that I had a high level of awareness as I was going down, doing a squat hold, and then coming back up again. What I mean by that is that activating those glutes. When you actively activate your glutes, you actually feel them considerably. And I'm thinking, Johnny, most folks who do squats and do work on their glutes don't have that high level of awareness. Does that make sense to you?
100%. You know, like when I was squatting, if I was doing a high rep set,
yeah,
say I was doing 20 reps or above,
yeah,
and you know, there's weights that were big, you know, I would basically, what I would need to do is I would need to kind of transfer into different muscles. So I would be really sitting on the heels, activating my glutes more and my hips in a big chunk of the set. Then I might shift my weight forward a little bit to where some of the load came from the hips and the glutes into the quad.
Yeah.
So, but that's something I've been in tune with just because it's a performance basis thing. You know, once a certain muscle gets really fatigued, lean on other supporting muscles.
Yes. Hey, Johnny, you've been in bodybuilding, you've worked on glutes, you've worked with men and women. We joke about deep cheeks, but there's something quite fascinating when somebody can really create that deep, I'm being very serious now, like that deep, like aesthetically pleasing gluteal muscle. Like there's a lot of work that goes into that, like that deep, that depth, that shape. Like that's a lot of work. There's a lot of work that goes into that.
100%. And here's the thing. If you take a distance runner, marathon runner. Put him there. Let's just say world class, because that way it's easier. So you take someone in the Olympics, the guy that wins the 8,000 meter or whatever the longest one is. You put him right next to the guy that wins the 100 meter. You're going to see a massive difference in the build of their leg.
Yeah.
That 100 meter runner looks like a fucking quarter horse because he's got these big old fucking haunches, right? Yes. Massive hamstrings. Yes. You know, his legs, because that's coming out of the blocks right there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so for me personally, I've always recognized the difference in the shape of a person's leg. I've been going after the glute from the beginning because I thought that, you know, having that big, strong, I guess you'd say, just put it bluntly, that big, strong ass was a big part of the look I wanted to achieve.
Yes. No, I love it too. Like the aesthetic appeal of like a sprinter, like that lower body with that big solid glute, hams, quads. Like there's like that because we all look up, man. We all look up top at humans. I love looking at like a strong sprinter with that tight waist, glutes, hips, like just you can see the strength exploding, eh?
There's something when you look at an ass, right?
Yeah.
And it's basically what I like in an ass is if it's narrow, and it's deep, towards you.
Yes.
And as it actually gets a little, so it's, you know, like my little girls, funny enough, you know, they would tell me, you know, when I was getting out of the shower, they said, Daddy, you have a clinch butt. So what's a clinch butt? They said, it looks like you're clinching all the time. That's just the shape of those muscles, even when they're relaxed. That's the shape of an ass that I always wanted to.
Well, it's funny because I saw you sent me a picture a few months back of you paddleboarding out there on the water, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's the clinch butt because it's the that's exactly
and that's a pair of loose board shorts too.
So, boys, here's some tips to get rid of dead butt syndrome. If you're sitting too much, get up, get moving. Get up and get moving because that's what's going to cause a lot of it. But here's some exercises, Johnny, which I'm going to throw on the table, which you jump in here with me. So glute bridges, clamshells, donkey kicks, single leg squats, side planks, lunges, Bulgarian split squat, wall sits.
Well, here's the problem. All this stuff is great.
Yes.
But it's like you've got to understand the concept, the philosophy, the methodology behind what needs to go into all of these. Otherwise, you're dealing with the exercise like, God, this is supposed to work. This lunge is supposed to work, but I feel it more in my quads. That's what most people are going to say. Same thing with the squat.
Yes.
If you look at your foot, this is the toes.
Yes.
If you have weight on your toes, you're activating your quad first.
Yes.
Period. End of story. You have weight on your heels. Your toes are light or up. You are activating your glute first. So all of the stuff that you just said need to be performed with heel heavy intention.
I love that you pointed it out and corrected me and offered that, because you offered that to me a few weeks ago when we were talking about it. And it was a good reminder for me, because when I do my squats now or do any leg work, I really focus on getting in my heels.
Dude, do it barefoot.
Yeah.
Take your fucking shoes off, and
Yes.
you can't help but to get you.
Yes.
You can see, you can feel your toes if they touch the ground.
Well, and and correct me if I'm wrong with this one too. I also enjoy heel elevated, because it forces me to focus back on my. So when I'm doing heel elevated squats or like that, that's good too. Am I not correct?
I mean, me personally, I wouldn't do it.
You like your flat, eh?
Yeah, because I mean, granted, it is forcing you to get on your heels, but it's also doing is limiting your flexibility.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
If usually someone that squats with the heel up, it's because they can't do it right with the heel down.
Gotcha.
It's a crutch.
Yeah.
Or it's someone that's doing that because they want to keep their weight on their toes, so they're activating their quads. Now the problem with that is you're gonna put a lot of stress on the front of your knee, and that's where people say, "Oh my God, I can't squat anymore. My knees are so sore."
Yes, yeah. My goal is to squat forever, because it's so important. Like, it's just, we talk about it all the time, going for a shit or just doing life longevity. But it's important that I get my squats in at least once a week. Weighted, non-weighted, I have to get my squats in. So we're talking dead butt syndrome, guys. Get off your ass, do some squats, get on your heels. That's going to help you, get rid of that dead butt syndrome throughout the day here. So, all right, you're hanging out with Keith, John, and not Marty this morning. Marty's got some things coming on. Hey, Mike McCullen, I see your comment there. Grab the cakes, nation. Your butt cheeks are probably not symmetrical. True story. Johnny, do you want to take a quick break for a pee break while I reset, or do you want to hang around? Because I got something for us. 3 phases no one should ever say in a negotiation. Up to you. You want to take off for 30 seconds and come back?
Because then it'll be 15 minutes before my fit tip. Yeah, I better do it now, because if I'm wiggling in my tip, it's not going to be as good as if I'm not. Yeah.
Johnny's going to step out for a quick second here, producer Jimmy, and we're going to keep the show rocking and rolling here. What's up, Benzie? I see you there in the comments. Amy Reinhardt, fit presenter, Scott Benzie. Hey, you're hanging out with myself, Johnny Andersen, Marty's office, some things this morning here. We just spent the last number of minutes talking about 2 things this morning, guys. We talked about what's coming. Your government, America, my government, the world's governments know that AGI is coming. AGI, artificial general intelligence. Well, there's a lot of noise happening over there with politics. Believe me, what's really happening is what's changing the world behind the scenes. Robots are coming. AI is coming. It's going to affect all of us. No, I'm not just some weirdo. I'm telling you the truth. How do I know? I live it. I'm living it every single day. I'm building a business using all these tools. I live and I breathe it. I see what's coming. Do not be afraid. Do not be ignorant of what's coming. So we get AGI coming. We also talked for a few minutes about what is dead butt syndrome. Why does it matter for runners? Why does it matter for you? If you're sitting on your ass all day, you're going to get dead butt syndrome. True story. So things you might want to focus on doing is getting up, moving around a little bit, getting on there. And you're right, Adam Horry. They have robots making the robots now. That is absolutely happening. And I'm telling you guys, and maybe we're going to talk about it more on the show. Maybe I'm going to have this more on the show, these conversations, because folks aren't paying attention. You're not. There's over 3,600. Yeah, hear me clearly. 3,600 robot factories right now in China making robots. Yep. So the great robot race is coming. So what does it happen when robots show up? It's going to change the economic structure of society. And again, we're not talking about it because nobody's paying attention to it. And I'm not trying to scare everybody with fear-mongering, but it's just happening. It's happening. I was talking with my brother yesterday, and he's an electrician. And he's like, yeah, I went from using the screwdriver to now the power screwdriver. And I'm like, yeah, and one day you're going to bring the robot. So, folks, it's coming. It's absolutely coming. All right, listen, let's get into it. 3 phrases no one should ever say in a negotiation. Johnny, I brought this one on the table because I know you have had to go through negotiations in your lifetime. Negotiating.
Well, what the rule that I got one rule to negotiate.
Yeah, tell me.
He who speaks first loses. What's that look?
You spoke first.
Well, it's not a negotiation, weirdo. because the concept is so simple. Is that basically each person has a position.
Yes.
And the other person's position could be much closer to yours, and you want to let him speak first, then you have the information to basically make your rebuttal that much more powerful. Information is king.
100%. Negotiating's fascinating to me, and we're seeing it happen again on the global stage right now, right? We have a president of America who negotiates a certain way. We have my prime minister of our country negotiating a certain way. Everyone negotiates in certain ways, and three phrases that no one should ever say in a negotiation. And Jimmy, we're making some long form here. Exactly, Benzie, right? Exactly. First one, Johnny, is it. What you don't want to say to somebody is it okay if I ask for? No, you don't.
Hold on. What was it?
Is it okay if I ask for? So were you not negotiating? So Johnny, is it okay if I ask for a raise coming up next month? Or is it okay if I do this next time? You don't.
That's not a negotiation. That's just fucking folded up like a little bitch.
No,
negotiation. Hold on. It's got to be. Let's just define negotiation. You see those? You ever see on the Discovery Channel or Worldwide of Animals, whatever it's called, the Animal Planet, where you get these what are they? They're like rams, like the fucking big old horns, and they come from like 10 feet apart, and then they both stand there all wobbly legged.
Yes,
that's a negotiation.
Yes, it's not asking for permission, boys. So
if one of the rams came up and said, asked a question, okay, there's no reason to butt heads anymore. Excuse me, he comes up and asks for permission. There's no reason to butt heads anymore.
Yeah, you never want to enter a discussion, Benzie. You never want to enter a discussion with, hey, Johnny, is it okay if we talk about my raise today? No, that's not a confident position to walk into a conversation with somebody. It's not what you want to do. Second one, Johnny, do you think my number is too high? You never want to get, if you're negotiating with somebody, you don't want to sit down and say, so Johnny, I'm thinking about negotiating this with you.
These are not negotiation phrases.
All right. Well, that's why it's called three things you don't want to say in a negotiation. Three phrases you don't want to use, because
it's like you could be in a football game saying, hey, can I have the puck, please?
And then last one, I will just wait to hear back from you for next steps. No. So what I thought, the main point with me with this discussion was, Johnny, when you're negotiating, you got to negotiate with confidence, not with permission. If I'm playing chess with Johnny,
real quick, that last phrase, I'll use that phrase after I've won the negotiation.
Yes, that's exactly.
Okay, we got a deal. I'll wait to hear from you.
So listen, guys, if you're doing a negotiation, it's never done until the contract is signed. Go in with confidence. Use your words correctly. Don't be asking for permission. Negotiate. And it's okay to negotiate. And here, Johnny, here's the thing too, that I think most of us, I know I've been there, especially as a young man growing up, and I'm wondering if you have as well. There were times as I've gone through my professional journey where I wondered if it was appropriate to negotiate or ask the questions, right? Because we as humans often don't like conflict. We don't want to ask difficult questions. My response is, you're 30, you're 40, or whatever, you're kind of going through life, negotiate. The other person is expecting you to, John Andersen.
I think when it comes down to it, being always respectful, but direct.
Yeah.
Nobody can get upset with that.
Exactly correct. It's exactly correct.
You might not like the fact that I asked for something or that I, said something, but I'm going to do it in a way that's respectful.
Yes.
And it's going to be something that is going to be that I believe is going to be helpful.
Well, this is great. I just had this conversation with a fellow a couple of days ago about somebody in sales. If you're trying to sell me something and you're knocking on my door vociferously, you called me on Monday and then a couple of days later you reached out to me again, then you reached out to me again, you're doing your job. And that's what you're being paid to do. So I get frustrated with folks that are like, oh, this sales guy's bugging me. Actually, no, he's doing his job. He's doing a pretty good job of it. Or, oh, that guy was really hard in negotiations. No, he's doing his job. He's doing what is expected of him to have a direct conversation with you. Like, that's good business. when somebody's having a direct, hey, John, we both have a goal to achieve. I have my point of view, you have your point of view. I'm going to be respectful. Let's work towards achieving what we both want to achieve.
You know what I do with that type scenario when a salesman is chasing me down?
Yeah.
So, because I try to help people no matter what.
Yeah, you and me both. Yeah.
And some of the basic concepts of sales. If this guy's pursuing me and he's selling me the result per se, which is like selling me the beach. He's selling me. He's telling me how beautiful the beach is going to be.
Yes.
Right. Then he's doing his job. If he's trying to sell me the trip, meaning the plane ride and the taxis and all the shit to get to the beach, then I'm going to say, hold on, dude. Listen, I love your tenacity. You're not selling shit when you're selling a fucking 12-hour plane ride to this beautiful beach. Don't talk about the plane ride. Talk about the beach. Talk about the Mai Tais on the beach. Talk about how beautiful the water is at the beach.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of stiffen him up a little bit. Like, take this and go run with it and come back and try again.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. So guys, negotiate, be accepting of the negotiation. I recognize that somebody's negotiating, they're just doing their job. And if you're not negotiating, you're not doing your job. It's as simple as that. Hey, Johnny. So listen, let's move to gut feelings. Today, the main topic I threw on the table today was about gut feelings and how do you know when your gut is right? And I don't know about you, brother, but I know as I've gone through life, I have leaned more into my gut than ever before. It's like as every birthday goes by, I'm like, yeah, my gut. Have you ever had that gut feeling that proved that you were 100% right? Or even on the flip side?
Dude, that's all my whole life has been fucking run off of my gut.
Talk about it.
Because all the logic, and all of the, the realistic thoughts and all the shit that, everybody tried to tell me was completely pole opposite of my gut.
Yes. Hey, Jimmy, I see AJ sitting in there. If he wants to join the conversation, let's bring him in here. We're talking gut feelings. What's going on, Mr. Zeglen?
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, brother?
I missed that. I literally just logged in, so I didn't have a second to catch what you guys were talking about yet.
I saw your beautiful mug pop up on the screen, and I said, "Hey, let's bring AJ in here." So, AJ, the big topic for today is about our gut feeling when all of a sudden, we're going into a situation, work, personal, professional, and you're having to make a decision. And you lean towards intuition, you lean towards your gut. And Johnny talks about it often where he's like, I wouldn't have had the success in my life if I didn't chase my gut.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes your gut goes against what people will tell you or what people say or logic for that matter.
Yes.
But just remember, it's like it's only impossible until somebody does it.
Ooh, I like that. That. AJ, intuition or anxiety? Can you tell the difference, or as you've gone through your decision making in life, reflect upon experience, or even with clients, this feeling of, is it intuition, is it anxiety, it's that feeling in the gut? AJ, talk about that with me for a few moments.
Yeah, I mean, it's that feeling of discomfort, right? And
yes,
because we're not we're not sure, and unfortunately there's no way to guarantee these outcomes, right? We don't know, right? So you're trying to make the best decisions that you can with the information that you have. And you're also trying to, balance between, what you've been told is possible, right? And what you want to do. I like what John just said there. It's always impossible until someone does it. Nike just had a great ad that came out. I don't know if you saw just recently with a bunch of the female athletes, and the slogan was basically, you can't win, so win, right? Because they was talking about all the different things that they had to deal with. And I just loved it, right? Because it's like, well, you can't win anyways. Like, someone's going to have something to say anyway, right?
Yeah.
So someone's going to have some reason why you suck, or you can't do it, or you can't whatever. So you can't win. Okay, so fuck it, go win. So some of it's just this perspective thing, right? And another one that I've always loved is that when someone's telling you something can't be done or something's impossible, the only thing that they're telling you is that they can't do it.
That's exactly it. Yes,
that's it. If If I'm sitting here, I'm like, no, Keith, you can't do that. That can't be done. Keith, you can't do this. All I'm telling you is that I can't do it, you know? And I remember when I learned that, that was really a big perspective shift for me, because I'm like, oh, this person is actually not telling me anything about myself. They're just telling me about themselves, right? They don't think it's possible. They don't think they can't do it because they don't have the vision. They don't see it. They're not willing to put the work in. You know, I can see it. I have that vision. I'm willing to put the work in. You know, I'm not them. Like this can be done.
Well, you know, when it comes to a gut, and it's people get them, but how do you have the confidence to step forward? Well, here's been my barometer, or my, you know, the questions I ask myself to pursue the gut feelings is number one is, can I deal with the outcome if things go the wrong way? And number two, will I be able to stand back up afterwards? Because if I have those two, and usually if I can stand back up, I know I can deal with the outcome. So it's kind of the same. But if you're doing, let's just say you're mulling around a gut instinct that's telling you to do something that might end your life, okay, well, then you got to really fucking think this one through, because that's a consequence that you're not going to get another chance from. But almost everything else, fuck, man, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You're good. You might be missing a tooth when you stand back up, but you're going to be standing up.
Right. And yeah. And on the flip side of that, right, it's like, can I deal with the outcome if I don't take the chance?
Yeah, totally. Well, and that's the whole thing right there too, is I'm going to do it as long as it's not going to end my life, because I'm not the whole thing of not doing something. I don't sit well with that. That's why it's not even a question of, am I, you know, is it going to kill me? Okay. If it's not, I'm going to go.
Right.
I don't I've got that part, the looking back part out of the way. Like I'm pretty good at thinking, man, if I don't do this, what am I going to think? I think I left that behind me a long time ago.
AJ, do you have clients from time to time come in and speak to you about making decisions and actually having the conversation about, yeah, my gut's telling me this, AJ, but I'm really having a problem arriving at a decision, and I don't know how to quantify it. I don't know how to make it relatable. And then I'm maybe gonna get ahead of your answer, but are you taking me down the path of what you just said, which is, well, can you arrive at regret if you don't do it? Or can you arrive at satisfaction if you do it and achieve it? Like, are people coming to AJ and going, man, my gut's telling me something, but I don't know what to do?
Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of people that come in that are struggling with the decision, right? In their life.
Yes.
And from my experience, I will say I never like to talk in absolutes, because I feel there's always outliers out there. But in my experience, I would say that most people deep down already know what they should be doing, or already know what they want to do, and you're just helping them get there. You're helping them arrive at that decision, right? For a number of different reasons, right? Maybe they know what they want to do. Maybe they're scared though to take the step, right? Or maybe they know what they want to do. They know what they want, and maybe they have other people in their life telling them something that's opposite of that. Or maybe they're struggling with something culturally, right? Like, hey, I want to do this, but culturally, like how I brought up, this isn't really in an alignment with how I was brought up, but I'm really feeling this way, right? So there's a lot of different reasons why they might be feeling it, but I would say you know, the vast majority of the time, the people that I work with, I think that deep down they already know. It's just helping them take that step and helping them walk through it. So I'm not in there telling them what they should do. I always tell people all the time, I never tell anyone what they should do. I'll never know I'll never know Keith or John better than Keith or John know themselves.
But we're looking for your validation. I think it happens even often in conversations on this show. If I'm speaking and John's offering something as I'm talking or thinking, he's giving me validation to permit my gut to feel the way that it's feeling, moving me in a direction to make a decision. That's really what it is, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. You're just helping them facilitate that. But at the end of the day, you also want that person to come to their conclusion. Like, you don't want to tell them, hey, do this. You want to give them the opportunity to arrive there themselves, and for them to realize, like, hey, no, this is what I want. I know this is what I got to do. This is how I'm going to do it. Because that empowers them to be able to do that in the future, right? For other points in their life. It's not the only difficult decision they're ever going to have to make in their life, right? They're going to probably have to make thousands more. And as soon as they realize that, hey, I'm capable of doing this, and I do have the courage to trust my gut and take the chance. And like John said, I, stand up and dust myself off if it, and do it again. Then wow, what an empowering experience for someone to go through that and realize that they're capable of doing that in their own lives, right?
Mm-hmm. Let's wrap this segment up. Let's wrap it with a takeaway. Johnny, what would you say? And I'm going to ask both of you guys this question. What would you say to somebody who's struggling to make a decision? They're leaning on their gut, their intuition. What are you saying to that person, John?
I say you make a bad habit of thinking about shit too much.
Get moving. Create the moment.
Yeah, you're sitting here thinking what you need to be doing is fucking taking a step.
Yeah. AJ?
In those behavior patterns is what fucks people up. They don't even realize that they're doing it because it becomes this thing that they do. Next thing you know, they're fucking thinking, instead of actually getting shit done, they're planning their way to get things done until one day there's no more fucking time left.
I often kind of overthinking it, right? You're at the point where you're overthinking your decision. Make the decision, realize it, get on with it. AJ?
Yeah, there's a great saying that's kind of connected to that. And it's like, we're so worried about making the right decision. Just make the decision right. So,
right.
There's going to be no perfect decision in life. There's going to be all these things. So whatever decision you do, you can make that decision right by focusing on all the things that are under your control, right? So if I'm like, hey, am I going down path A or B? Okay, I'm going down path B. I'm going to make that decision right. I'm going to work hard and see it through and give it my all and my best at it. And then, what's the worst that happens then? Like John said, you get knocked down, maybe you lose a tooth, you get up, you dust yourself off, and you're,
and at very least, you're falling forward. You're standing still. You're actually going backwards because time is leaving you behind.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith, John, and AJ here, Mornings in Live with Keith and friends, wrapping up our discussion on gut feelings and what's the right gut feeling. AJ, Johnny, I got a couple other conversational topics for this morning. This next one here, I think this is a fun one. This is a good one. AJ, you have no idea this one's coming.
Okay.
Attractive women receive more oral sex than non-attractive women.
I can see that.
So can I. A 2000
that's nasty. I'm not putting my face in there, you nasty old thing. Take care of yourself.
A recent study, a 2023 study. Yes, Jimmy. This is going to be long form, Jimmy. Oh yeah. So yeah, Jimmy, you're right. We got Johnny's. So listen, Johnny, why don't you do the lifestyle tip? Let's do the lifestyle tip, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to dig into this conversation because it's actually a thing. It is actually a thing. There's some research or some studies around attractive women, non-attractive women. Johnny, lifestyle tip. We're going to come back and dig into this for a couple minutes. Jimmy, thank you for the prompt.
One of the most powerful tools a person has is their ability to make a decision, make a choice, and move forward. You can plan your way to the grave, but never actually get anything done. You can always be thinking it's going to be a better time tomorrow. You can always be thinking there's a better place to start. But one day you're going to wake up, you're going to look yourself in the mirror and go, what happened to all the cool shit I wanted to do with my life? You're going to look yourself in the mirror and go, man, I wasn't making decisions. The decisions I was making was to do it tomorrow, was to do it later. You need to make decisions to take the bull by the horns and do it now. Because even if the decision doesn't work in your favor, you're going to learn something. Don't think about failing. Think you're either going to win or you're going to learn. And when you frame it that way, it doesn't seem so bad. So make a decision Take the first step. Just like Don Shula said, the step that stops most people is the first. Don't be that guy. Go get it. Rock and roll.
Up in the Don Shula quotes. AJ, I love when he drops the Don Shula quotes, man. He's every now and then he brings his quotes from the olden days. I'm like, yeah, that's good stuff there. That's good stuff.
That's a top-notch leader right there.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Legendary coach, yeah.
So, guys, I teased this conversation before we went to the lifestyle tip, which is attractive women receive oral sex more than their peers. Now, this is true stuff. I found Psychology Magazine here. This is not just like fucking Winnipeg Free Press, Globe Mail stuff. This is legitimate stuff. But so I did a little bit of research into this, AJ and Johnny. Did you know that? So, oral sex was considered a taboo subject until the revolution of the 60s. World War II and so forth, and as society started moving forward, and in fact, so there's some conservative movements that happened, which moved, oral sex forward in humans' lives. But then so a couple of studies were done, guys. A 2023 study examined the relationship between giving and receiving, and found that amongst 1,000 couples, men that performed oral sex more frequently on their partner, the wife had a more satisfying relationship. And the more oral sex the woman received, the more likely the wife was to perform oral sex on her husband. And then it went back even further, guys, that another follow-up study was done that found that performing oral sex on your female partner may increase the odds of your partner staying with you longer, known as retention. So as I looked at this study here, guys, to summarize it, men who are more attracted to their female partners, who perform more oral sex on their female partners, have happier relationships. The female sticks around longer, and attractive females get more oral sex than non-attractive female partners. And then as a result of it, the female partner performs more oral sex on their male partner if that happens behind the scenes. The reality is this study indicates that oral sex is empowering, and the fact that if you are very attracted to your female partner, she's going to be happier, she's going to stick around longer, and everybody is going to be happier. Now, I know that sounds so cliche and simple, but it was fascinating to me that there's actually people talking about this, AJ.
Yeah, well, so I guess my first question is, like, when you first, said before John did his lifestyle tip, I was wondering, I'm like, how are they measuring attractiveness, right? Because it's such a subjective topic.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Very, very true. Very true. Yeah.
We could all have a completely different opinion on what we find attractive, right?
Yes.
I will say then, once that's been established, though, that if you find this person attractive, in general, we want people that we find attractive to like us more.
Well, it's interesting. I'm gonna jump in here, AJ,
right,
because this results of the study indicated that the more frequently the husband performed oral sex on his wife, more likely the woman was to report being satisfied in the relationship. She's going to like you more because, again, it seems common sense and natural. But I'm also going to offer that if you don't like your partner, you might not be performing oral sex, and as a result of it, there might not be happiness happening around.
And like I said, we in general as people, like, if you meet someone and you find that person to be attractive, there is a higher degree that we care what that person thinks about us. There's more of a desire for us to want that person to like us and think highly of us because we find them attractive. Whether they know that we find them attractive or not doesn't matter. It's just our own perception of it. So I could see how that connection is made, because if I see this person and I think they're attractive, I think my wife's super attractive, I want her to like me more and feel very satisfied.
Yes.
I'm gonna do these things because it's important to me that she likes me. And for the second part that you said, I could see the satisfaction on the female side going up because I feel like probably traditionally for a very long time, men's pleasure in the bedroom was probably prioritized higher than a female's.
Yes.
And so the fact that a man would take the time and the effort to show the same consideration and involvement and desire to please, and the desire to take care of his female partner, I think that probably would make most females feel pretty good, right?
Yes.
I mean, I so agree with that, AJ, but I think there could be a loophole in this whole thing, right? So here's the thing. If a dude is going down on his lady, the odds of them not having sex is probably close to zero. So is it really the oral sex, or is it the fact that they're having more sex?
Yeah.
Well,
and is she,
that makes sense?
Yeah. And is she more ready for that sexual experience because now there's been much more foreplay involved and effort and time and stuff put into that part of
and
the
that's what leads
experience.
exactly to what you were saying, 100%. So I think it's kind of a multifaceted thing, but I bet you that in this study that the actual the quantification of how many times the couple's having sex is going up, which is also going to lead to kind of a similar outcome in terms of how she's going to feel.
And again, the study wraps up with, as we work towards a conclusion here, is that, oral sex improves women's perception of relationship quality, which Johnny, AJ, we talk about. If we're being intimate with our partners, we got a connection, I'm going to suspect everybody's happier. Right. So again, I found it fascinating in many ways, AJ, because of what you said, that, society typically leans on the man and with the man's happiness. And I found this was interesting that, attractive women receive more often than non-attractive women. And as a result, everybody's happier. Again, it seems like common sense. But when I found
an attractive woman's going to get more ass in general, I think I think the chewing on the box thing, I totally get it. It's part of the equation. But I think that's attached to a bigger perspective here. We're zeroing in on this one element. I think good-looking chicks probably get more sex. Good-looking chicks probably get more kisses. Good-looking chicks get more attention. So there's all of these things that they get. Obviously, oral pleasure fits into one of the categories, but I think that being a better-looking female is going to help you across the board when it comes to any sort of sexual attention.
Well, again, then the study also talks about the fact that if you perform oral sex in your partner, the odds of her sticking around longer are going to be like, so if you want to stay married, well, here's the reality. You want to stay married, have sex with your partner.
And keep in mind, have sex with your partner. That's the first part of the statement. Have sex with a partner that satisfies your partner.
100%.
Now she's going to stick around.
Yes.
Whatever that
is
path to her having, really good and many orgasms. That's someone that's sexually frustrated eventually is going to go sniffing around where they get what they want.
Yes.
Right. So granted, the end result is, or the safety net, like with Terry, I know that we have such an amazing sex life. She knows neither one of us are going to go find another partner that's going to fit the bill.
Yes.
So there's a lot of security in that.
This to me leads back to attraction. I'll call it what it is. If you're not attracted to your partner, whether it's emotionally, physically, intellectually, there's going to be a gap and flags are going to come up. And AJ, you're in the business of working with couples and working with men and women. So, maybe there's a tool for you to, maybe this is a new tool for the toolbox for you. The next conversation, some guy comes into your office, you're thinking to yourself, hey buddy, have you had some oral pleasure with your wife lately? If not, maybe that's what the first step should be to help you make your gut decision that you're having right now. All right. Go, Paige.
Oh yeah. No, I was going to say, in a huge, the great thing about this is a huge part of that attraction comes down to effort, right?
Yeah.
And your effort, that effort is something that's 100% within your control at all times, right? So
so good.
Yeah.
So you directly influence the quality of the relationship, the quality of the attraction, and all the things that come with it, right?
Well, think of a girlfriend or a wife. Let's say as a wife, a long-term situation, right? And you got the husband, and he's like asking questions, and he's busting his ass trying to get her what she wants, and he falls short a lot. It's very different than if he doesn't give it. He's falling short all the time and doesn't give a shit.
Yes.
That the woman is going to be like, I don't always get what I want every time, but it's not for a lack of effort on his part.
Yeah.
All effort.
Me and Melissa have had this conversation numerous times over the years, right? When it comes to the attraction piece.
Yes.
She's a female. I'm not going to paint all females with the same brush, but a lot of them are pretty critical of their own bodies.
100%.
Right? They're pretty hard on themselves, right?
Yeah.
I'm one of those females myself.
So she goes through typical things, right? Where she's like, oh, I feel like this looks different on me now, or I can see stretch marks from when we had the kids, and I can see this and that, right? And we always debate this because I'm like, oh, no. I'm like, you got it all wrong. I'm like, for myself being the male in this relationship and my attraction to you comes from your effort. Yeah. Like the fact that you're in the gym every day and you work out, and I see you busting your butt, and you're always trying to eat right and train well, and you're doing all these little things to try to take care of yourself. It's that effort to me. Like, I'm more attracted to you now than the day that I first met you. You know what I mean? And what changed in that thing, like what intensified that attraction, it's me getting to see your consistent effort in trying to just improve yourself, right? Get better. We all have the capacity to get better in every aspect of our lives. And the fact that you're always pursuing those things and trying to improve yourself as a person, right? Not just physically how you look in the gym, but mentally and emotionally. And, you do all these things, like that's where the attraction is a million times more than it ever could have been when I just met you and I just saw your looks alone. Right. So.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I mean, because I feel the same way, brother. It's like I consider myself kind of an ass kicker. Like, I'm fucking getting up every day. I'm going for it. And I would have a really difficult time with someone that didn't share a lot of that mentality. Now, you do that in your own way. Don't do it my way. Yeah. But it's that mentality. I'm going to get up. I'm going to give it up. Well, John, I need to be surrounded with that.
John, it's what you always say: judge somebody by their habits, not by their results. And AJ, that's what you're I'll use the word. You're judging Melissa by her consistent effort behind her habits.
Yeah, right? Totally.
It's the same way I love Lauren. She gets after it every single day. Some days better than others, but she's getting after it. I tease her about snoozing. I tease her about rolling over and letting her alarm not wake her up. But every single day she tries. And that's what's attractive about somebody instead of being a lazy ass.
Well, how many times do you see someone who's successful? Yes. And they're just a lazy piece of shit.
Yes.
Like, dude, what the fuck is okay? Yeah, you've got success over here, but get your fat ass off the couch. Put the fucking box of goddamn Lucky Charms away and fucking go for a walk.
Yes. Well, there's some days I'll confess. Laura will come home from work and I'm like, I'm fucking sitting in the same spot when she left because I've been working all day. I'm like, I hope she's not thinking in her head that I'm just some lazy ass sitting there, even though I've been working and moving around. But we sometimes have those perceptions, right? Which is, no, I did a lot today. Like, I've been working my ass off today, but it's that whole idea of judge me for my habits for the work that I'm trying for instead of the results. Right.
Well, and when you really get far down that line, like, people in my life are always telling me, you need to take a break. You need this, you need that. And I'm like, look, just because you don't run at my speed with the same consistency, don't tell me what I need.
Yep.
You're telling me what you need.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes. Telling what you need. It's exactly right.
Yeah. You need a day off because you don't like the shit you're doing. Leave me the fuck alone.
It wraps up even how we started the conversation about our gut feeling when AJ's like, somebody's judging you or somebody's making a decision on your behalf because it's not a decision that they're making.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Or even this is another doozy. Don't tell me I need a vacation. I don't want a vacation for my life. I go on a vacation. All I want to do is what I do in my life.
Get back to
my life is a vacation. Just because you need a break from your daily rhythm. I love my daily rhythm. I miss my daily rhythm.
Awesome. Great conversation this morning with Keith Bilous, AJ Zeglen, John Andersen, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. AJ, I know that you had a big lift yesterday with some of your buddies.
Oh, yeah.
Man, it was a great day in the gym.
Yeah? Tell
It was just great leg workout, great deep cheat day.
hanging
But
out, connecting with the boys you haven't seen in a while.
yeah, just connecting, right? Getting to spend time together.
Yeah.
Work out. Obviously, when you're in a group like that, you just feel that the intensity naturally rises a little bit, right?
Yes.
And everyone's doing 5 pounds more, or everyone's doing an extra, fighting to get the extra rep or do whatever. And it's great, man. It's a great atmosphere. It was a lot of fun. So we've already scheduled the next one.
Nice.
So I love that. We
30 years younger. You're all thinking you're still in your 20s, right? You're all like, oh yeah, I'm still 20.
Man, we got after it. I was feeling it already. I knew it was good because I got home yesterday and it had already started to set in. Usually for me,
that's good.
Leg days the next day and maybe 2 days after is, but usually, there's some fatigue after, but I was going to bed last night and I was already like, oh man, this one, this is going to hit me hard. I'm going to get out of bed tomorrow morning. I'm going to be feeling it a little bit. And I was, and,
that's the one where you take a little magnesium before you go to sleep so you don't fucking cramp up.
Right. Yes, exactly. So I love putting myself in that spot, and it's funny, we were talking about training stuff yesterday. So all these guys, they both work now as city firefighters, but we all used to work together at the same gym. So we still talk about like training ideologies and philosophies and stuff like that. And we were just, kind of compare notes, now that we're a little older, you have a little more experience in the gym, like what things have changed, what things we're doing on our own and blah, 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 all that stuff. And then, it got down to it at the end of the workout and we're like, we need a finisher here. We need something, even though we had just talked about, how you're a more experienced lifter and this and that. Sometimes you don't have to do these things like we did when we were younger. But then at the end of the day, we just threw it all away anyway. And we just absolutely buried ourselves under this finisher. And
what was it? I'm dying to know. What was the finisher? What was it?
So we were on the leg press and it was 2 minutes for as many reps as we could get. And so the idea of the protocol initially was it's 2 minutes for max reps. And then you rest a minute and then you do 1 minute for max reps, trying to hit at least 50% of what you got on the first set. Which seems easy for a lot of people because they're like, oh, that makes sense. You have exactly 50% of the time, so you should be able to get 50% of the reps. No. But obviously you're fatigued, right? So now you're grinding.
That's a mental barrier working
for sure. And you've given your mind now a goal, a number to chase, right? So it's interesting to see how we're able to perform when we have something specific that we're physically trying to hit. So we kind of amalgamated this with another thing. So we did 2 minutes max reps on the leg press. Then you had a 1 minute rest. And then we did 2 minutes for as many walking lunges as you could get in, just at our body weight.
Dude, rested another minute. Awesome, dude.
Rested another minute, went back to the leg press then for a minute max on the leg press, trying to hit 50% of what we did on the first of the leg press. And then rested a minute and then hit the walking lunges again for a minute, trying to hit again 50% of the walking lunges that we hit on the first 2 minute set, right? So so that was it. But yeah, it had its effect. And sometimes at the end too, we were talking and I just said to the guys, I'm like, sometimes too, every once in a while, you got to pick a spot where you just do something, because even if philosophically, maybe some of your training philosophies have changed a little bit and how you take stuff to failure and the weights that you use now, maybe you're a little older, more experienced, you feel you can still get some great benefits out of not, taking yourself to the absolute limit every workout like we did when we were 20. But I was like, every once in a while, I feel you still got to go there just to know that you can. You still got to push that limit just to be like, fuck it, man. I could still do that. I could take myself right to the edge like that and survive it. And I still feel there's some value in that from time to time.
Dude, one of the things that I'll do when I'm in a group like that, usually I tend to be the leader of the group, at the tail end, however many there is, 2, 3, 4 of us, we basically, what we'll do is we'll all face each other, with about arm's length apart. And we basically sit in a squat hold. Who can sit in there the longest? Right. And then it just turns into because then it's head to head. And when it's head to head, it brings out a different type of, it's one thing if you're rotating through something, but if you're sitting there looking at somebody start to shake, Yeah, you're trying to dig a little deeper. That's what I always dig. It's just a little head to head at the end.
Yeah, no, I love that. You're right. Yeah, that little, and that's kind of what it's about. That's one of the great things about training with people, right? Too.
Yeah, brings it out.
You could create that kind of environment, right, to train it. So yeah, it's great.
That's awesome. All right, boys. Well, listen, we're going to let AJ get out of here, and Jimmy, we're going to let Johnny get out of here as well. We're coming up to the 15-minute mark of the second hour here. Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. Age, what you got going on the agenda today, buddy?
Back in the gym.
Yep.
At the clinic, and then watching Boston play hockey.
They're
semifinals. So if they win tonight, they're off to the finals.
Wow.
Which would be awesome. Nice. And then after his game, then I'm back in the clinic to see another client. So it'll be a little bit of driving around today, but I'm excited for all the pieces of my day. So I'm looking forward to it, even though it's going to be busy.
And hey, congrats to Leighton. I saw that little award you posted up there on your social feeds there. Congratulations to your daughter for getting that award, being recognized with that award as well.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, that was pretty cool for her to go and experience that. They had like a big gala for it, an awards thing.
Oh, fantastic.
There wasn't many pictures because she hates having her picture taken.
Yeah,
so it's really hard to get her to get a photo from the event. So that's why it was just a picture of the award alone. But
nice.
It was pretty neat, man. Just not only for her, but for all the kids. Obviously, all the kids being awarded that night were special needs in some type of way. And man, some of the kids showed up. There's this one boy there with Down syndrome, and he showed up in like the best suit.
Yeah, I love
when he walked up, when he got his award, he walked up and instantly I knew exactly. I'm like, this kid's a wrestling fan because he walked up like one of the bushwhackers, like this. He went like right through the crowd to the stage, and he was so pumped, man. It was awesome. Like, dude, it was the best. Cool. Like the energy in that place was electric for these kids, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really super cool just to go there and see all the other kids too.
That sounds like an amazing experience, brother.
Yeah, it was good. I hope one day, Johnny, you get a chance to meet Leighton. She's such a wonderful young lady. AJ's daughter. She's an awesome young lady, and I hope one day, you get a chance to meet her. AJ, you brought it up. I have to throw it out there. How about one of the greatest heel turns in the history of sport with John Cena turning on the weekend, brother? And John Andersen and I were talking about it on Monday because I had to fill him in on it, and he's like, "Oh my, that's awesome!" Because that's a 30-year, 25-year heel turn in the making. Like those only come as generational stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe the one comparable would maybe when Hulk Hogan went heel when he went to the, like, because I feel like he was they were both viewed in their own way. They were like the gold standard of the good guy for so long in wrestling, and they had both been at the peak for so long. To have them, I think, was just a complete probably shock to everyone, but it definitely makes for a great entertaining television storyline. Like, it's awesome.
Love it. AJ, before you go, a couple good comments coming here. Mike Sullivan. Hey, Mike, I appreciate you joining us today, brother. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you in the comments. And, of course, my lovely, beautiful bride, Lauren, throwing a big heart on the screen there as well when we were talking about Leighton there, AJ. So getting after. Yeah, John is off to a wedding tomorrow. He's got his daughter's getting married tomorrow, brother.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy. Awesome. Congratulations. Is this the first child that you've had get married?
Yeah. That's the first one.
First one. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So is it a traditional, like you're going to be walking her down the aisle and?
Well, we're a mixed family. So she's got she's got three dads. She's got me. She had another stepdad, and then she's got her blood dad. So obviously by the DNA dad's going to walk her down.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it's going to be an amazing experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's exciting, man. That's got to be a while. I know those are, we're always talking about next steps. You're talking about Carter, turning 18 and before, getting the license and stuff. I feel like that next step, having a child get married is probably one too that just kind of blows you away. Like,
well, Johnny's a grandpa too, AJ. Like our brother Johnny's a grandpa too, so that even kind of you got to wrap your head around that, right?
yeah. Those are just. I mean, that's why life's the best, though, right?
Yes.
Like, oh man, that's why it's what a privilege we have to be on this planet and experience all these things, right? watch our kids get married, become a grandfather. Like that's just got to be the best.
Love it. Amy Reiner coming in with some congrats, Johnny, from Amy Reiner as well. So, Age, we'll let you go, man. I love how you're hanging out. We got a lot of time with you today. So I appreciate your time with us today, and thoroughly enjoyed our conversation today, man. We started off with talking about our gut feelings. We talked about performing, how attractive females love oral sex, and we talked about decision making, and we talked a little bit of wrestling and so forth. And we talked about our kids. Great conversation, brother.
That's the best. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you, brother.
I hope the wedding's awesome, John. All the best.
It's gonna be a good one. Yeah, for sure. Thank you, brother.
Beautiful. All right, we're gonna walk AJ out of here. Johnny, we're gonna walk you out as well, pal. I know you got a day ahead of you here. What do you got going on today, brother? You guys are packing. Are you leaving today or are you leaving tomorrow?
No, literally leaving today. So I'm gonna get my training in, have my team meeting this morning, and then basically pack and get out.
Beautiful.
It's only about 90 minutes away.
Oh, just down the road.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, piece of cake.
Oh yeah, piece of cake. All right, brother. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you. What a great show here today. AJ coming in with Amy Reiner coming in as AJ. AJ is sunshine. I agree. He brings a lot of joy to our show. I got a shoulder day today. I got a bunch of things I'm working on, which I'm quite excited about. But we're gonna keep getting after. You have yourself an awesome day today. We'll be back here in less than 24 hours on the Friday loop, my friend.
That's it, my brother.
All right, brother.
Have a good loop.
You too. All right, Johnny's gonna get out of here. Jimmy. There's our the resets. A little behind on time here today, but in a good way. Because usually, if I don't play this one, I play this one. Yeah, there's that one too. I think I'm gonna update the buttons for the music, Jimmy. Hey guys, talk about AI earlier in the show here. Suno, SUNO.ai. I'm a music creator. I'm like an artist. I'm a rapper. Made some songs yesterday. A couple days ago, played them for Piper. She's like, "Oh, Dad, you're an artist." I'm like, "Yeah, I make music." Check it out. Suno.ai, SUNO.ai allows you to make unlimited music with a prompt. Just prompt it. I want to create an Amy Reiner special. I want to create an AJ Zeglen Deep Cheek special. Strings with rap. Yeah, you can just make it just with a prompt. Simple as that. Okay. All right. The long pause in front of the screen. You know what? Actually, Jimmy, you know what we could do right now? Let me just see here. Let me see if I got it ready to do it, if we're going to do it. Maybe we'll make some long form here, Jim. Let's see here. Yeah. Hey, I got something for you guys. Jimmy, let's do a long form, brother. Let's do a long form conversation here before we do the Creator Spotlight Community Corner. We'll do a couple minutes here. I got a long form. I got a piece of conversation. What? Piece of conversation? I have a topic to throw onto the table that may help you guys that are looking to do something in front of a camera. Just go creating social media or creating content. I found an article, talked about 5 tips, maybe more than 5. How about we do this, Jimmy? Here's our hook, Jimothy. Tips to be instantly more confident on camera. There you go. There's the hook. I'm real. I'm going to do an AI version of this later. We're going to do an AI version of this. Tips to be instantly more confident on camera. All right, guys, here's where we're going to go. Number 1, you got to prepare thoroughly. The confidence. Yeah. The confidence. Jimmy, we got to edit that part out of the video. The confidence that comes in front of the camera comes from preparation. You got to outline those key points and you got to practice before you're going live or doing recording. Confidence comes from repeated actions and then you have success, right? And if you don't have success, you will build confidence along the way. So guys, prepare. Even if you don't think you got to prepare. There's your first step to be confident in front of the camera. All right, so there's you go. Your first tip to be instantly more confident is prepare. If you're not prepared, you're not going to perform confidently. Number 2, you want to focus on your audience. Yes, you want to shift the attention from yourself. You're thinking, okay, well, I'm talking. It must be about me. No, it's actually not about you. It's not about you. Your job in this experience is to be the vehicle to deliver your words to the audience, to the person right over there, to the person on the other side of the camera. So you want to think less about yourself. You want to think about more of the person you're speaking to. And you've heard me say this before. Don't be speaking to a group. Speak to one. Think that you're speaking to one person right now. Right now, I'm talking to Amy Ranner. Right now, I'm talking to Scott Benzie. Right now, I'm talking to Adam Holroyd. Right now, I'm talking to producer Jimmy. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. I can see your ears up, right? So focus on your audience. If you shift the attention from yourself, it's not about you. And if you shift it all to your audience and the value that you're providing your audience will tune in. And listen, a lot of people talk about you can't pause. You can't pause. You got to talk. You got to give the quick hook. True. However, when you get good at it, and when you get good at speaking to your person on the other end, good morning, good time. Have a great day, brother. Glad to have you here on the show. I appreciate you for joining us here this morning. When you get good at it, you can draw somebody in with that conversation. All right, next one up here on the list, adopting a confident posture. Listen, if you're going to be on the camera and just kind of be like this, and looking all slouchy and looking disinterested and not looking at the camera and looking around, you're going to lose it. People aren't going to pay attention. Stand up straight, look straight in the camera, look straight into those person's eyes. Use hand gestures, use body language, open yourself up, project confidence. Again, how do we get confidence? By doing something over and over and over and over and over. When we succeed, we gain more confidence. When we fail, we gain confidence, but you got to try, right? So get up in front of the camera or sit in front of the camera, look in front of the camera, look at the light, look at the lens, be confident. And here's the thing, you guys, if you're doing it more than somebody else, you're already ahead of them. Don't be nervous about it. Everybody's nervous about it. Accept the nerves. All right, next one, Jimmy, speak clearly and slowly. Avoid rushing through your words. Speaking at a measured pace helps you appear calm and in control. You notice how I pause to draw you in. When you speak clearly and slowly, you draw the listener in. So as you hear me speaking, I'm looking directly at you, Amy. I'm looking directly at you, Adam. I'm looking directly at you, Clody. And I'm pausing because you know that I'm speaking to you and you're leaning in. These little tricks and tips will invite your audience to stick around longer. You know, one of the things I pride myself on this show is having long watch times. People join the show and they stick around. How? Why? Because the way you speak to somebody is the way you draw somebody in, right? So the goal with creating great content is having somebody stick around for the whole conversation. So when you ask a question or when you offer a statement, being selective, speaking clearly, speaking slowly, enunciating, placing certain emphasis on certain parts of your words is going to draw somebody in longer to the conversation. All right, next one, you guys. Next one for this one too is embracing imperfection. Listen, the reality is mistakes are normal. And here's the thing, guys. They're going to make you more relatable. Don't strive for perfection. When you strive for perfection, you're making yourself less relatable. I have heard so many times from folks going, oh, I can't do this. I can't make video. Oh, I screw up all the time. Or I don't feel confident. Good. Screw up. Don't feel confident. Have your dog come in the room. Have the kids cry. Have something fall off the screen. That's real life, you guys. Authenticity matters more than perfection, especially in a world of nonstop AI-generated content. People want to see the long pause. They want to see the stumble. Yeah, we don't have a lot of time because our attention spans are short, but the reality is that authenticity is going to make you relatable. Get rid of the perfection and strive for imperfection would be how I would invite you to consider becoming more confident in front of the camera. So let's summarize this. Let's summarize this conversation, Jimmy. The best way you can be instantly more confident in front of the camera is prepare thoroughly. Focus on your audience. Think of one, not many. Adopt that confident posture, speaking into the lens, looking at it, speaking clearly, speaking slowly, and don't be afraid to embrace the imperfection. Being perfect, that's good. Being imperfect might be even better. There you go. Jimmy, we did it. Hey, listen, guys, we're working hard at making additional segments of long form content, and that would be an example of one. Right? So let me be honest with you guys. I view this show like a magazine, right? So if you think about all the topics we had today on the show, they're magazine topics. In the olden days, back when I was born, in the olden days, we read these words. Well, now you go to our Mornings in the Lab channel, you have all these topics available to you. You can just digest them in 2-minute, 3-minute, 4-minute, 5-minute chunks. Yeah, that's the whole vision. That's the whole point of these little long form segments. Okay, so now we are going to get to the community corner segment of the show. It's funny, guys. There's sometimes I start the show, I'm like, I don't think we have enough to talk about for the whole hour. Yeah, 90 minutes in, we're still going after it. Okay, so we're going to do the community corner, the creator spotlight. I love this part of the show. Yes, I do, baby, because here's where we celebrate human beings. So Jimmy, where do you want to start today? Let's start on, let me see. I see you're set up on LinkedIn. So let's start up on LinkedIn here today. I think are you there? Jimmy, are you set up on LinkedIn? Am I correct? He's frantically typing. Are you okay? Yeah, there you go. All right. So we're going to start on the LinkedIn Creator Spotlight. I'm going to get him set up here. Let's do that there. All right. Okay. Oh, look at this one. That's an interesting name. I like this one. All right. So fellas, every once in a while, you noticed my pauses? There you go. Back to our conversation about speaking confidently and clearly in front of the camera. Every once in a while, you come across someone who's just built differently. No, we're not talking about myself or John Andersen or AJ Zeglen. No, the kind of person who doesn't just wear many hats. He makes all of them legendary. This guy isn't just on the air. He owns the airwaves. This guy's not just in the room. This guy's running the show. And when it comes to giving back, this guy leads with purpose. Yes, baby. Radio, TV, music, real estate, community, sports. What the hell? Are we talking about me? Jimmy, Melissa, are you guys celebrating me this morning on the Creator Spotlight? Holy smokes. This dude's mastered them all. And today, we're celebrating one of the hardest working voices in the game. What game are we talking about? Good question. I didn't create this. Today, Mornings in the Lab is excited to celebrate Keith Bilous. Kidding, all kidding aside. Today, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends is excited to celebrate Jimmy. Let's get it up there because I got the button ready. We are celebrating Crisco Kidd, Josh Carmona. Yes, baby. Radio personality Crisco Kidd for over 2 decades. This dude's been a powerhouse in entertainment working with Pitbull. Hey, Lauren, this guy's working with Pitbull, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Diplo, Rick Ross. Hey, I was riding with Rick Ross on the Peloton yesterday. How do I know? Well, this picture was there. I liked his ride. He liked me back. We're now connected. Ricky Ross, Rick Rose, and more. You've seen this dude, the Crisco Kidd. You've seen him on MTV, BET, NBC, and Fuse. And if you're on Sirius XM's Pitbull Globalization, you've probably heard his voice pumping through your speakers, reaching over 4 million listeners a week. But here's what sets Crisco apart. Success didn't make him forget where he came from. No, baby. In 2017, this dude took a relentless drive into real estate, helping everyone from celebrities to first-time buyers find their dream home. In 23, the guy launched Crisco Kids, a nonprofit dedicated to empowering children with the resources they need to win. This dude is a solid human being. And when this guy's not on the air or making an impact, you're going to catch this guy firing up the crowd as an Arizona Cardinals in-game host. This nation, this Mornings in the Lab nation is what real influence looks like. A career that spans industries, a heart that gives back, and a presence that's impossible to ignore. So Crisco, we are here to celebrate you, my friend. We are inviting you to the show. Here's how it works. I know, Josh, I know there's somebody in your orbit. And hey, Josh likes camouflage like I do. Actually, I can't even see Josh's head or his shoulders because he's all camouflage here in that picture. So like myself, I love camouflage. Josh loves camouflage. Josh, here's how it works, my brother. We want to invite you on the show. We do. I want to come on your show too, actually. We want to invite you on the show because we know there's somebody in your orbit that deserves a celebration, just like we're celebrating you. So, Crisco, we'd love to have you on the show. We'd love you to offer up somebody who we can celebrate. Mornings in the Lab Creator Spotlight here on the Community Corner, right here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, baby. Jimmy, that was a good one, man. Whoa, the Crisco Kidd. Yeah, I like that. All right. Our next one coming up here, guys, as you know, we're also doing our stuff over on the Substack, the old Substack, inside.bapple.ai, the behind the scenes experience, how we have created and how we are continuing to create the largest men's conversation in the world. We got somebody who's creating great content on Substack. Yeah, he sure is, baby. Let's talk about Jimmy. Here's the hook. Let's talk about pressure. It's always there. The weight of responsibility, the unexpected setbacks, the mental and physical grind of just showing up every day. Yeah, baby. Some people crumble under it. They crumble. Some fight through it. And then there are the rare few who train for it, who learn to make stress work for them instead of against them. Today's Creator Spotlight is one of those rare few, He's a military resilience instructor teaching warriors how to stay sharp under pressure. A BJJ brown belt pushing his limits every day on the mats. A functional fitness coach building bodies that can handle the real world. And an audiologist helping people navigate life through sound. Oh, I love that. I love that whole idea. And just for good reasons and just for good measures, this dude, Johnny, I got to meet you, this guy. And just for good measure, this guy we're celebrating, Guinness World Record holder in what, you wonder? Burpees. Yeah, burpees. True story. This dude, his name, Jimmy, this morning, Mornings Aloud with Keith and Friends is really excited to celebrate, Jimmy, Kyle Shepard, the Guinness World Record holder in burpees. Now, this guy just doesn't study resilience. No, baby. He lives it, he teaches it, and he gives others the tools to do the same. Through his Substack, Resilient Mental State, he's breaking down the live science, the strategy of mental toughness, stress management, and human performance. Because resilience, it's not just about avoiding stress. It is about learning to thrive under pressure. And this guy here, Kyle Shepard, does exactly that. So Kyle, we're celebrating you here this morning, my brother. We'd love to have you on our show. Here's how it works. Come on our show, celebrate somebody in your orbit so we can continue to pay it forward. I invite you guys, check out Kyle's Substack. Resilient Mental State. He's breaking it down, the science and strategy of mental toughness, stress management, and human performance. And hey, this guy's Guinness World Record in burpees. Maybe he'll come on the show and burpee us out. Kyle, we want to have you on the show. Love to have you on the show to do burpees. How many burpees did you have to do to get the world record? Come and tell us all about it. Maybe Johnny and you can have a burpee off. All right, there we go. Done. Boom. Over. Yep. That's it. Creator Spotlight's done. Show is almost wrapped up. Yeah, I'm going to 98 minutes today. Wow. Jimmy, good one. All right. That's it. Show's over. Just like that. Boom. Just like that. Woo, big one today. We talked about a lot of things. Talked about gut feelings. Talked about attractive females receiving more oral sex than unattractive females. We talked about dead butt syndrome. We did, Jimmy. We talked about dead butt. Guys, if you got a dead butt, get up. It's as simple as that. The dead butt happens if you're sitting too much on your ass. Get up, do some squats, do some lunges, just get your butt moving. That will help eliminate the dead butt syndrome. And we also kicked the show off. First hour, the first 50 minutes, the unpredictable part of the show. I offered up my take, Uncle Keith's take on the fact that your government and my government, the world's government knows AGI is coming. So what's happening right now is a reset in the world. Don't be afraid. Just acknowledge it. Just know it's happening. Yes, we're all going to have some pains happening economically for the next little while. We know it's happening. But the world's resetting, you guys. It's resetting. And much of that reset's happening with technology underneath the scenes. And it's going to affect all of us. Don't be afraid of it. Be aware of it. Embrace it. Recognize that the world's changing. So, Jimmy, let's get out of here, man. I got to use the restroom. Yeah, true story. I had less of a break today because Marty was off doing his thing, so didn't have time to leave the show here for a few minutes. Listen, we're going to get out of here back tomorrow morning to the lab with Keith and Friends. I'm just going to have a quick check at tomorrow's show topic, at what it is tomorrow in the lab. Let's just see here quickly. It is going to be tomorrow morning's live with Keith and Friends is unpacking my journey From ordinary to extraordinary, how you go from ordinary to extraordinary. We're breaking it down tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. Listen, guys, on behalf of me, I'm the host with the most, Keith Bilous. That's me. Yep, true story. Over there, John Andersen. Over there, Christopher Martin. And of course, over there, AJ Zeglen. On behalf of Jimmy, producer Jimmy, Melissa behind the scenes. Good day, brother. Good day, Benzie. Good to have you on the show here today. On behalf of Adam Holroyd, fit presenter, Scott Benzie, Amy Reiner, my lovely bride Lauren, all of you guys. Mike Sullivan, thanks for tuning in this morning, you guys. You can get all of our content on the platforms all over the place. Oh, we got a guest tomorrow. Joshua Boswell is joining us as well. See you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. Now, here's the fun part. I walk downstairs, even though there's no stairs here. Just watch. Here's how it goes. Let's go, Jimmy. We'll see you guys tomorrow.